Hello and welcome to a short video on how to make your life here on Massage a little easier. Tips and tricks, yeah. Things like, for instance, basically anything fits on a conveyor belt, including your equipment and power slugs. And yeah, but that's like fairly not very useful. So how about, let's say you have a ton of Mark II or even Mark I conveyor belts and you have unlocked Mark IV, but you don't want to like destroy and rebuild the entire thing. You might miss something. Yeah. So what you do is you equip your Mark IV conveyor belt and hover over the thing you want to upgrade. And there you go. Yeah, you can also, if you wish, downgrade. It goes both ways. Now, let's say you want to split this instead, but you don't want to unmake it and just, yeah, it's a big hassle. So you just hover over it while having the splitter or merger selected and click. And there you go. Now, and when you remove this, it restores the belt as it was. Sometimes you get a little graphical glitch, but it's fairly rare, and it doesn't actually harm the belt much. Let's see. Yes. Now, let's say you have a ton of containers that are, let's say we have rubber there, and we have some steel beams there. But let's say you have 9 of them in a row, and they're all different things, and like, whoa, where's the thing I need? Not there, not there. Where is it? Whatever. Yeah. There is a way, or several ways actually, to identify at a glance what is in a. Yeah, let's put it there, and let's put it there and jump up. Let's pick another conveyor belt, put it in there, put it there. Now you can see at a glance what's in the storage container. There is another way of identifying containers that I'm particularly fond of, and that is to use beacons. You aim it just so, and there we go. And now I can just say, let's say, I think there was rubber in here. Short-term memory is not my... Yeah. Now, if you look at this, let's say you have a warehouse with a lot of stuff in it, and every one of them has one of these, it gets a little cluttered in the radar up there, but once you're inside, it's incredibly easy to just see. Yeah, it's rubber there, and yeah, you can see it pretty easily. And it's very unobtrusive, graphically speaking. Now, when it comes to moving things into containers, I'm going to take those back because you never know. Let's say I want to move all of these stacks of concrete I have here. You could double-click naturally or shift-click, or you can hold down Control and drag, and then all of them go there. This also means that, let's say I want to... Yeah, I have a lot of coal, so let's say I want to... First move that over there. Let's say I want to destroy these 3. I can drag and drop and it'll destroy all the coal I have. It's only the thing you drag though, so that's good. Now let's say, yeah, I only want 2 stacks of concrete in this storage container. Let's say I've set up a temporary constructor and I don't want to overwhelm my inventory with a lot of stuff that I only really need 2 stacks. So yeah, what you do is you drag over these leaves, for instance, and then you start splitting until, yeah, there. And then everything start moving, and it'll stop once it's gotten to 2 stacks. So that's something. Next up, let's say you have a large building and you want to get up there, but you don't want to use things like ramps or stairwells to do it. You just want a straight shot up, and you can't jump and you can't use the jetpack. Well, what you do is you use stackable conveyor poles, because they clip through buildings and they have a ladder on the side of them. And there we go. And you can get right on up there, and it looks pretty nice as well. Now, how about getting down, though? And this works for all ladders. If you just, like, walk off them, you generally get hurt, like that. But, well, the best way to get down is the same way you'd get down a ladder in real life. And that is, you back down. And it doesn't matter how fast you're going or if you're using a slight angle, it'll clip right through, clip right to it, and there you go. And it looks pretty good. Next, let's say you have colored an entire building's specific color. And you want to update the entire building without having to do what I just did. Well, what you do is you simply edit that particular, let's go with pink and black. You update that particular preset, and all of the buildings that use that preset will be upgraded, or updated, I guess is the better word. And this also works for the normal one, which is this one. If you edit this, all buildings in the entire world will use the new updated color scheme. I don't want to do that because I kind of like this color, to be honest. But you can do it if you wish. Next, naturally, is, well, if we look at this place here, there's not a lot of space, to be honest. And what space is, what ground we have, is inclined, so we'll end up building into the ground there. And there's rocks, and there's even some poisonous flora over here. Yeah, but it's a nice looking location. But yeah, I want more room. Well, you gotta think outside the box. There's so much room for activities here, though, isn't there? Yeah. What you do is... there we go. And you're careful not to go over the edge. And let's clip it right there. Yeah, you can go basically, I mean, you'll never need as much space as you can get from here. If you go far enough out, you start taking damage. Basically, it's an exclusion zone. But that outcropping there, and all the way right there to there, basically all the space you'll ever need. And if you're insane and you need even more space than that, then you can go up. You can encase the entire world in basically what's a Dyson sphere and build on top of that. And it's, yeah, it'll be more space than... I don't want to Bill Gates this, but basically it's more space than anyone could possibly ever need. Yeah, and if you build the space elevator on top of it, then you don't have to make a hole for the cable. Now, you're gonna have to buzz up all of the natural resources you'll need. Things like coal, iron, oil, all of that. In big elevators, basically, and that could be tricky, I guess, but once you have that done, there's really no need to go down here, except for, like, hard drives, etc. Now, speaking of hard drives, occasionally you will find crashed vehicles, drop pods, apparently, and they will be surrounded by things you can use, such as modular frames or computers, nice. And cables, oh, reinforced iron plates, more heavy modular frames. Yeah, a little bit of basically everything. You might even find things like... Oh, that's you sounding, okay. Things like turbo motors, things that aren't really in the game in early access, or at least not yet. And you'll also find open drop pod, things like this. And generally they require you to give them an item, and that just means you drag the item there and that's it. Or they require electricity, a certain number of watts, or I don't really know what, volts or something. But this one is just ready to be opened like that. And they contain a hard drive. This one you take to, well, you just go back home. Once you've got yourself a little hard drive, you go to the MAM and click hard drive. There you go. And then you wait 10 minutes. Now then, once the hard drive is finished being analyzed, you will have a choice of one of 3 alternate blueprints. For instance, stitched iron plates, which is basically reinforced iron plates, but you use wires instead of screws. Now, that's actually pretty good. Quick wire, which uses caterium ingots and copper ingots, so you don't use up as many caterium as you would otherwise. Or rubber cable? I don't know. I'm going to go with stitched iron plate, I think, this time. Yeah. Now, if you encounter enough hard drives and have them all analyzed, eventually you will be given the choice of one of 2. And then you will and the next time you will have only one to choose from, which is really not a choice, but bear with me. If you pick up another hard drive after that and put it in here, then it will not give you anything. Actually, right now, as of the recording of this video, doing that will actually crash your game, and you will have to reload a save that was before you even started analyzing that hard drive to save the, well, save, to be honest. And otherwise the game will simply crash upon on loading. Not even when you walk up to this computer to watch the results, but it will crash when the analysis is complete. So 10 minutes after you put it in, that's when the game will crash, regardless of anything, really. And yeah, that's sad, but I imagine they will fix that. Also, keep those hard drives, because eventually early access will give us the other tiers of technology, and the hard drives will be useful then. But yeah, that's fairly long into the game, though. Right. Down in on this little beach here, there's a big enemy that I really don't want to tango with at all. Well, he can one-shot me and I don't feel like obliging him, but I want to use this little place as a... I want to build a little thing here. Beach resort, if you will, and he's very much in the way. So how do I get rid of him? Simple. I build a small building. There should be good. Then take a little distance so that he doesn't aggro me. Put down a beacon. And then I leave. And after having been gone for about, oh, I don't know, 8 or 9 minutes, I was in the area just scouting around. Went up there and yeah. Anyway, 8 or 9 minutes later, I can come down here and no enemies in sight. This works on pretty much all enemies, not just the one I just encountered, but like plant aliens, spitters, chargers, all of them. And that also means it's impossible to have a zoo in this game, sadly, but, well, ups and downs. I am unsure at this point whether enemies will respawn if you take away the buildings. So, yeah. But, ooh, bauxite. Right. So, yeah, any enemies that you want to get rid of but don't really want to tangle with yourself, build a building. Any building will do. Power pole is usually the cheapest options, I feel. Though perhaps just one of those will do as well. Yeah. Next up. Every once in a while you'll find some boulders that you want to get rid of, but, well, we don't have something like dynamite or I don't know what else you could use to get rid of large rocks. I don't know. Anyway, we don't have that, and I don't think we'll get something like that, but every once in a while you'll get lucky with a big boulder you want to get rid of next to a tree. Because we have a chainsaw. Let's see. There it goes. That's gone, but that is not. Yeah, the chainsaw has an AoE, but it's only about 3 or 4 meters wide. Didn't remove that one either. But oh, hello. Gonna take you. Yeah. See, we have wrong button. Think we'll be able to get rid of that one. Yeah, it's gone. Now, every once in a while, you'll end up finding one of these little precious things. So what you do is this. You drop one of these pale berries, and then you wait. If you approach it right now, it will run away. But if... wait... it will now follow you. And it has some coal for me too. And if I walk here, I've got a pet now. I just wish I could pet it more. Now, when it comes to vehicles, there are a few things to be aware of. For one, they have a workbench in the back. And if your vehicle has been flipped, either on its side or upside down or something, you can use the workbench generally to flip it right side up, which is really handy in most situations, so you don't have to, you know, F and rebuild it. There is one other thing, though. When it comes to the fuel tank, you can either use fuel, or you can use leaves, or you can use wood. You can even use flowers, but fuel lasts longest. There is one other thing, though. These power shards, which are a limited resource because they come from slugs, but if you double-click on a power shard, it ends up in the fuel tank, which is really bad because they are such a limited resource. But if you were to put one in there, it will last for about 1.5 hours of continuous use. but then it will be gone, which is really bad considering that if you put them inside a building, they will last forever and increase output by 50%. So yeah, you don't want to use them in vehicles, but you can if you really, really need some fuel, etc. And I'm going to move that there. So yeah, be careful when you double click to move things to the inventory there. And that will have to be it for today's video, I'm afraid. I've been rather busy with real life for a few days now, and yeah, I haven't had time to play the original playthrough of Satisfactory, so you'll have to wait for that until next week. But thank you for watching, and have a good evening.